we'll see just as the week goes how close.
Is it kind of
We need those guys back. We want them back, but at the same time, we got to make sure that they're in the right place before we'd get them back on the field.
How would you assess how Amarius played when he came in the other night?
I think he did a good job. It's difficult circumstances for him because he had really just gotten back into full speed practice work. And so you've got the full scope of the game plan plays that he gets bits and pieces of because, Trent had been starting. So I was really proud of the way he came in. He was poised and thought he did a nice job for us, and he'll continue to improve. But I like the direction he's headed. Now he's obviously going to get all the work. And so, again, we have really high expectations for him. And really, in a lot of ways, kind of picked up where he left off from training camp. And for a rookie, I thought that was really impressive to see from Amarius.
Does Cody become your swing tackle at that point, or is there other discussions about that?
Yep.
Biggest takeaways, Zach, offensively and defensively, after watching the film?
I think offensively, you can't waste any plays. There was a really in particular 2-play sequence there in the high red zone in the first quarter where we just got to be better in all areas to be able to get more points on the board. If that drive came away with nothing there, and so I think just those red zone plays for us, we've as a unit got to collectively be better to make sure that we get in the end zone instead of settling for field goals because we're getting down there and we just got to come away with more 4-point plays. Defensively, I think the things that can be improved is just in space, making the plays in space when we're there. It's going to limit some drives if we can do a better job there. It's reared its head a few times. And so, again, I think there's some things that we can continue to build on and improve. I'm encouraged. I'm excited for a new opportunity this week. You kind of take a day from the game and refresh yourself. And I'm really just excited to get back. New opportunity for this team to prove themselves. And this is a very humbling league, and there's a lot of ebbs and flows. And right now we're on the downside of that. But I'm encouraged and excited to see these guys put their best foot forward and get back on the bright side of things.
Personnel-wise, when you're watching film, do you feel confident that you have the right guys that you want on the field, or do you feel like you can call plays differently or put them in different position? How do you feel in that regard?
I think we're always putting the guys on the field that we think are going to help us win the game. And in a long season, things can always evolve, and we look for roles for people as it makes sense for them and for us. I think anytime you lose a game, you're always taking a hard look at what you could have done differently with calls, with personnel. And so that's no different after a game like that. But I think what we do is we make sure we don't overreact to, okay, we lost the game and things looked bleak in some areas. But let's really fine-tune how we can actually improve and not just decide that we have to make wholesale changes or anything, because that's not the answer. I think we're in good shape, and we're going to be moving forward the right way. And I'm really excited the people we're going to do it with.
Zach, Sam Hubbard's been on this roster since you walked in the door, so you've seen him evolve. How would you assess how he's played through the first 3 weeks?
I think the hard thing for Sam was just coming off the injury he had in training camp. And so every day and every week that passes, I know he's feeling better and better about himself. And so, again, I'm encouraged for the direction that Sam's headed.
Is there a level of messaging in terms of like trying to make sure everybody's on the same page?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of my job, and that's part of the leadership on the team's job. Again, I don't stand up there and give these big elaborate speeches, but there are things to keep them pointing in the right direction and make sure everybody's on the same page. That is important. And again, as you spend a day, we lost, you're upset about it, you're 0-3, it's not the position we thought we were in. You kind of show back up today ready to go, just ready to not prove anything to anyone other than, okay, we got an opportunity this week to put our best foot forward and get a win. And it's going to take a lot of work to do it because this is a good football team. But you just kind of re-engaged and re-encouraged and ready to get back to work.
Joe said he's going to think over how he is a leader and kind of see what best suits this team in the moment. What kind of change, if any, have you seen from him in the last couple of days and kind of how he's been?
He's been positive. He's ready to get back to work and lead this team to wins. And I've been encouraged by him from the get-go. So nothing's different now.
How do you feel like he's evolved in the time since you got him to now in the way that he kind of maybe not just handles winning and losing, but handles how his leadership role in the team?
It's tough to say for me evolved because when you're with him every day, it's if there is a subtle change, it's just part of what you're experiencing with him. So I can't give you a great deep answer on that. It's again, when you're with somebody every day, it's how have they changed over a 2-3 year period. It's hard to really put that into words.
How did you feel like Chris Jenkins did handle his first experience?
I thought it was good. I thought there were some really positive things from him, and especially coming off of surgery, playing with a club in there. And I was encouraged by things I saw Chris do on tape.
You coached Andy and you coached a handful of games against Andy, and here he is still in the league. What does that say that he's still in the league and can turn in a performance like he did?
Total pro. Always be grateful to Andy. He led us through a very difficult time. Did it the right way. Was always really good with me, with giving me feedback, and especially as a first-year head coach and all the challenges that we faced that year. And so again, I'm not surprised that he keeps getting opportunities and makes the most of them because of how he prepares and the talent that he has and his experience in the league. I mean, he's seen everything. He's gone against everything. He's played in a lot of different situations, and so you're not surprised to see him out there winning games and statistically doing the things he's doing and playing on time and making some unbelievable throws in that last game to help them win.
What impressed you the most about what you saw from him this past week in that game?
Well, I mean, impressed me. I've seen him play a billion times. So he made some terrific throws. The touchdown to Thielen. There were some other throws in there with the anticipation that he threw with where really the touchdown he threw to Thielen, you look at where he released that ball and where the safety was at and where he took Thielen is really impressive. And that was one of many. I thought he was in a great rhythm the other day and did a good job getting the ball out of his hands and was really accurate and aggressive. And those are the things that you're seeing from Andy.
How different is it going from a Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback, to a guy that has seen so much, almost everything you can see as a quarterback?
Well, two guys that play with a lot of poise. You see that, and they know where to go with the ball, and they're very accurate. And you can tell that their teammates believe in them.
Joe talked a little bit about the quick check y'all had after the meeting or after the game. How would you describe the sentiment of kind of how that?
I mean, it was something I didn't think anything of. I know I keep getting asked questions about this, but it's something that is not unique for Joe and I. I guess I just went in the wrong door. Is the biggest issue there.
What does it say about him that he kind of wants to give that feedback as soon as he's coming off the field on whatever he's on top of his
I mean, the amount of conversations he and I have together are countless at all times.
Zach, you were just kind of talking about, and you were asked about how you're not really much of a yeller at times, and that doesn't always you don't always need to lead that way. But similar with Joe, like he's not much of a talker too, and that's kind of what people say about him. He's more a lead by example type of leader for you. Do you feel like it can almost be misled in if someone's not vocal outward in the public eye, that it's maybe misleading to the type of accountability that is actually taking place?
Yeah,
closed doors?
that's hard for me to speak to, and those are the things that we just cannot worry about because they really aren't important to our team. What the perception is, what people think happens. We know exactly what happens. We know exactly what message is being portrayed. We know the relationships in the building. And, it obviously gets louder and louder as you lose games. You're 0-3. I'm sure that the external forces out there are loud and have their opinions. But I think the beauty of the pros we got in the building is know how to block that out and focus on what's important. And, again, this isn't the first time we've gone through adversity in the 6 years I've been here. So we know how to get ourselves out of it, whether it's the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, the end of the season. It's really all the same, and you're just looking for that first win to start to get some momentum. And I'm excited. I truthfully I hadn't even remembered after this week last year we were 1-3 coming off a 27-3 loss to Tennessee. Until I kind of went through the notes and reviewed where we were last year, and so we've certainly faced adversity before, and there is a better side to this thing, and I'm encouraged that we're going to get there.
To follow up on that, like, what are the challenges in helping someone like Joe grow as a leader and maybe making sure he doesn't try too hard to be something that he's not, but you still want to?
That's the beauty of Joe Burrow. He's not going to be somebody he's not. He's not going to force something. He's going to be genuine. He knows the right time to speak his mind and to lead in certain ways. And when you start trying to go outside the framework of who you are and what's made you what you are going to be, people see through that, and it's not as genuine. And I think everyone who's experienced the Joe Burrow experience has seen that he is 100% authentic, genuine. He's not going to do something because he thinks someone wants him to do it that way. He's going to do it because he knows it's the right thing to do. And we got a lot of guys like Joe that kind of lead in that same mold. And that's what gives me the confidence to be encouraged to sit here today and excited for the rest of the season.
Is it different pulling a team out of adversity right now when you had an offseason where this in the past, left. Is it different in that regard, dealing with adversity when you know a lot of the guys that helped you so much before are not here now?
Yeah, I think if you're talking about TB, I was texting with TB today just by chance, but there are new guys that take on those roles, and so it's exciting to watch them and how they do it their own way. And so again, we've certainly, people you're referencing have been a big part of what we've done, but you got plenty of people that are still here, and you got plenty of people willing to take on new roles that really do a good job once they're empowered and they get an opportunity to do that. So it's not, I don't really look at it that way. I look at this as our team right now, and excited to get back to work and go to battle with these guys.
A lot of focus.
That's typical. So talking to some of your former.
Well, I'm just trying to think through who you're referencing, and yeah, I know. But as you're doing it, I just I was watching last year's walkthrough from this day, and I was having a conversation with TB, and I was just curious what we were probably talking about, but yeah.
So much focus, Zach, obviously, on the relationship between you and the players after a game like Monday night. What about you, Lou, Darren? What kind of conversations do you have, Frank and otherwise, about making improvements?
Yeah, we're always frank with each other, and I think that's part of just having a great relationship with people, and everyone just wants to get better, and so we all take a hard look at our units and collectively together what we got to do to improve. And again, it's I feel very confident in the direction that we can move forward starting this week.
I know he's not ever going to be perfect, but the extra point missed in Kansas City and then the missed field goal on Monday night. What have your conversations with Darren been like about what you're missing from Evan right now?
I feel good. I mean, yeah, that's two of the kicks. There's certainly been a lot that he's made, and so we still have a ton of confidence in him.
If every group is different from year to year, Zach, have you found out what is the best way to get the best out of this group is?
Well, I think that's ongoing. We're again, each week is a new week, and excited to get back on the field with these guys. And I know what they're made of. I'm excited about what we can accomplish this week, and just ready to get back on the field.
Running game came full circle, did well last week in a lot of ways. Will you continue to build on what you have done?
Absolutely. I think our offensive line is playing really well right now, and we just haven't afforded ourselves a great chance to play with the lead. We didn't do enough offensively to capitalize on early opportunities that will allow us to play with the second half lead and really dictate the control of the game. We just, through 3 weeks, we haven't done that yet. And Kansas City was maybe the best example of that, but certainly in New England and Washington, we didn't do that. And so you don't get a chance to play with the rhythm offensively that you want to. And again, that's an offensive thing. That's hey, take control of the game early on, your first 2 drives, and you can control that tempo. And so those are certainly things that we can continue to improve on to allow ourselves more opportunity to continue to grow the offense, and not just the run game, but all the things that come off the run game, and to where you're not just in the fourth quarter in drop back pass mode, which was efficient for us, but certainly not how we want to just make our hay all the time. You want to be able to really press people with the run and then build off of that. And I think the offensive line, when given their opportunities with the backs and the tight ends, have done a great job of that. I thought our receivers did a great job on the perimeter and blocking. We really challenged them going into that game. There was a lot of good things that you saw on tape of guys really trying to make those things turn from 5-yard gains to 10+ yard gains, and there was a lot of good examples of that.
As the season gets deeper and the outside noise maybe gets a little bit louder, does it become more challenging to make sure that not only y'all block it out as coaches, but as players as well, to make sure that they don't look into it too much outside? What's that challenge like as a head coach?
I think everybody's got to handle that their own way. Some guys feed off of that energy. Some guys need that chip on their shoulder. Some guys need to be doubted. In some ways, it does strangely get you fired up and ready to go, and not to prove anything to anybody, but that's why we're in this league. You like walking into an opposing stadium and everyone hates your guts, and there's something that kind of fuels you there, and so there's an element of that sometimes I think guys feed off of.
First time you've seen Jadeveon and Clowney since last night.
It's not the first time I've seen Jadeveon Clowney. I thought you were going to say first time I've seen him. I think I've played against him 84 times since I've been in the NFL with many different teams.
Let me clarify, since November.
Nothing like Seattle acquiring him 3 days before the season starts, and you have no earthly idea how they're going to play him, where they're going to play him, what their structure is going to be. Drew Sample got him his first snap of his career on duo. That was fun. So, yeah.
How does it look? Same.
Great. Yeah. Same as when he was in Houston, when he was in everywhere he's been. You know, it's I'm trying to count all the teams I played against him on, but tremendous player, gives great effort. You know, just such a long, athletic body type that he really creates a challenge because he can rush and attack you so many different ways, and he's got length, he's got quickness and power. And so, again, just was he the first overall pick? Second overall pick? Yeah, first overall pick. He still plays like it. You know, that still shows up on tape.
What makes Andre such an effective player in the red zone?
He's a tough guy. I'm trying to refresh myself on the touchdowns he had against Kansas City. Did he score last game?
Yes,
Right,
fourth down.
Oh yeah, fourth down. Yeah. You know, he can play with really strong hands, and the separation he created on a lot of those touchdowns against Kansas City. Great understanding of how he's going to get the ball and where he's going to get the ball, and being ready for that. And so again, I see a player that's just his arrow continues to go up, and he's obviously, I don't think he's ever lacked confidence, but he's got to be gaining more confidence with these plays that he's made in critical situations. And I thought he did a great job on the sail route, you know, in the 2-minute drive at the end of the game, getting his feet in, doing a great job separating and really controlling the ball and getting 2 feet in. And so you just see some things where he continues to gain confidence, and we've got a lot of confidence in him, and he'll continue to get more. I mean, it's hard to say get him more opportunities. We have so many great players. There's a lot of guys you want to get opportunity for, but when it comes your way, you got to be ready to make it, and I think he's done an excellent job of that.
Is there a moment or a time or interaction that you had with Andy that first year that really served to be a big building block, like how you built kind of how y'all built this thing moving forward?
I don't know that deep. You know, just it was hard. There was, when you lose 12 games in a row, that's challenge. That's real challenge. And I just always appreciated the feedback and honesty he gave me, and we kind of went through it together of trying to find a win and trying to be perfect, because in a lot of ways you had to be perfect to that point, you know, to be able to get those wins. And so if you just had 2 or 3 bad plays, you felt like you missed your opportunities. And so I can just remember going through that with him, and 2 guys that I think saw it all very similar, and when we were just trying to figure it out. And so again, I always appreciate that side of him.
So was he the first player you met here?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think he was probably the first player I met.
If you didn't have a guy like that as your starting quarterback, how much difficult does that make it for you to kind of continue on after he's gone and kind of go from there? And kind of how, if you don't have that guy to set the tone early on your tenure, how much more difficult does that?
Yeah, I mean, you need key leaders at key positions, and the quarterback's certainly a key position. And so, you know, to have a guy who had the experience he had, knew what we were trying to achieve, and you're installing a new offense, and so a guy that can visualize it and picture it, and it's just called a little bit different, but he's experienced it before, was certainly helpful. Okay, thank you.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.